Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Options Weapons School. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Whiz. We'll get into all that here in a little bit, but give me a vertical head nod or a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me, and we'll get airborne. As you let me know that you're good to go electronically, do me a favor and let me know, give me an N or a Y for new and also where you're from. So if you're new, give me an N and where you're from, okay? And because I want to see how many new folks we got joining us. Jackie, Perry, it looks like we have a couple members in here. You guys should be over in Doug's room doing full throttle training. Lloyd, Raleigh, North Carolina, welcome aboard. Give me an N if you're new and also where you're from. If you're Roy, North Texas, we're in North Texas. There you go. Look at that, Roy, right there. I flew the FA-18 Hornet out of Naval Air Station Fort Worth, Joint Reserve Base there, man. Lived in Keller, Texas. BJ Moose, Tennessee. Guild, Northern California. Roy in the Big D. All right, man. Awesome. Love having people from Texas. Giuseppe, welcome aboard, man. Joe in Melbourne, Australia. Harry's here for the politics. Harry's a member, and he knows what's most likely going to happen tonight. All right, folks. Well, good. We have a couple thousand people registered for Options Weapons School. I did this in May, and we only have 25 Options Weapons School slots, and the demand was a little bit greater than I had expected, so I'm doing a little bit of a break from my SOP, my standard operating procedure, with opening up just a handful more slots this week to because I talked to my my other folks support, and it looks like we can take just a little bit more. Brad, welcome aboard. I know you are one of those older folks that we speak of. So good, welcome aboard. Daryl, North St. Paul. Okay. Northern Minnesota. George and Daryl, looks like you guys might should go get lunch, man. I was up in Minnesota a couple months ago giving a speech. All right. Let's go ahead and get airborne. The room's filling up as we talk. I start on time. I try and end on time. Our flight time tonight should be about an hour and 15 minutes, plus or minus, depending on how many questions or political rants we get into. And I'll give you that snowflake trigger warning here in a couple minutes. But welcome aboard, everybody. It's going to be an awesome, awesome week. Before you even ask the question, yes, this is recorded. Everything's going to be recorded. All the live trading sessions this week, all the live training sessions this week will be recorded, and you will get access to all of those replay pages, okay? So welcome aboard, Top Gun Options, Options Weapons School. And if that name sounds familiar, it should, because it comes from the Navy Fighter Weapons School that many of you know as what? Top Gun. Okay, here's kind of your snowflake trigger warning, folks. I can't stand Democrats, can't stand Republicans either. They snatch defeat from the jaws of victory just about every day. Obamacare, an absolute abortion for this country, pun intended, and the Republicans can't get out of their own way. So just know this, folks. I trade what I believe. If I didn't, I'd be broke, and I'm not, okay? So if you're a snowflake, you don't like politics, you think that politics has nothing to do with trading, you're most likely broke already because you don't understand how the markets work. Politics massively play a part in the way the markets go. The three, I'm not even going to use the word major pullbacks this year, have been what? The sell the State of the Union, the first failure for Republicans to repeal Obamacare, and the Comey memo. Three political events caused this market to pull back this year, okay? So if you can't stand politics, or if you're the type of person that's sitting there going, hey, where's the trades this guy talked about? You might as well leave now and unsubscribe from our list, because tonight you will not be getting actionable trades. That is tomorrow morning. That is Wednesday. That is Thursday. That is Friday. You're going to get more actionable trades than you know what to do with. Tonight is a welcome aboard, folks. If you're going to join my squadron, you better know who the hell I am, who Top Gun Options is, and our methodology, okay? I can't stand when people come up to here, and usually, nobody's done it yet, but usually there's some clown that's like, all right, I'm out of here. This is good. I don't want you to become a member, and I'm getting pretty close to booting a couple members as it is, folks. No actionable trades tonight. Going to give you my methodology. Look over in your little handout section over there. You should have a one-page PDF that says trade plan, okay? Make sure you guys open that up, because we're going to be going through that tonight in depth, and then tomorrow morning we're going to apply it live in the market and take a look at some actionable trades, okay? So let's get airborne. Tonight's brief. I'm going to brief you on the flight schedule for the week, all the events. They are recorded. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Top Gun options. Not necessarily a little bit. How about a lot of it? Our portfolio performance year to date and also 2016. And our trading and training methodology. Notice that training is in italics there and underlined and stuff like that. Okay? So, training. The world is full of educated derelicts. Most of them teach at Berkeley and many of our institutions, and they're taking over our higher education. They're idiots. They're educated derelicts. Training gives you a skill. Fighter pilots are trained. Doctors are trained. Options traders are trained. So guess what, folks? I'm going to teach you our training methodology. How many of you think plumbing's easy, right? Plumbers do it. Try doing some plumbing on your own, and you'll find out pretty quickly that plumbers are trained, especially for years. Okay, so we're going to train you. I'm going to teach you tonight our 7-step proprietary trade plan. For those of you that have gone to the airport Marriott to listen to some guy in a really bad knockoff Armani suit with a Bolex watch from Hong Kong, you need a trade plan, and then you raise your hand and go, yeah, can we have yours? Thank you. Good night. Try the veal. That ain't me. You're going to get a 7-step trade plan tonight that I'm going to use throughout the week in my live trading. And then I'm going to cover this acronym, not fear. Well, it ain't 2016. Man, I wish. Not fear 2017. Okay, that's the acronym of some of the areas that we're looking at. If we have time, and I'm not going over my landing time, maybe I will set up something for tomorrow. No promises, okay? So here's what we're doing, folks. Tonight, we're doing our intro, 8 p.m., hour and 15 minutes plus or minus. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, you're going to be in what's called the primary live trade brief, okay? I'm going to show you some front month trades, maybe a hedge, and also a Jan 19 trade as well. So it's going to be action-packed tomorrow morning with actionable trades. Wednesday, at about 7 p.m., we're going to do vertical spread training, okay? I'm going to give you a sample of the type of training you're going to get in what we call Options Weapons School. And then also Wednesday night, I'm going to open the slots, folks, maybe even Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to open the slots so you can join our Options Weapons School program. Thursday, I'm going to do an urgent alert live trade brief at 10 a.m. Again, an actionable trade. And then Friday, you're not going to want to miss this, folks, because it's weekly options live trading. Many of you, if you're new to options, maybe you don't even know that weekly options exist. I have 2 weekly options trades that are on right now that we put on this afternoon. Remember, men lie, numbers don't. My Apple bear call spread is up 35% since 1 o'clock this afternoon, and my S&P 500 bear call spread is up 29% since this afternoon. Anybody give me a hell yeah if you wouldn't mind making 35 and 29% this afternoon in a couple hours. Our members did. So I'll give myself a hell yeah. 2 good trades, and I'm going to leg into an iron condor on both those tomorrow morning, most likely. So if you are a member in here, it's awesome how all my members come to all the to the open houses. It's pretty cool. So you bet, Roy. Yep, look, there's all my members saying, hell yeah, very nice trades. Thank you, guys. All right, folks, here's what we're going to do. Here's some tactical items. Let me just go through my tabs here. Every day, man, even if you become a member here at TGO or not, I do a video. It's a 5 to 10 minute video. It's some pretty good content. People, whether it's a political rant about whatever, it's free, okay? This is worth the cost of admission right here. Scroll down right now, click the link in that box, and sign up for the daily sit rep. It's called the situation report, okay? I do one every day. I don't do it at the same time every day. That's why it's stupid to try and go to the webpage and, hey, where's this sit rep? It gets pushed to you. The second I say, thank you, good night, try the veal, the sit rep gets fired out to you. It's free, just your name and your email. That's it, folks. I already got it. But the systems don't talk. I already have your name and email if you're listening to me. But different system. If you want my daily video, it's free and it's some good entertainment. You got to go here. And I strongly, strongly recommend you do that right now, because every once in a while I'll throw some free trades out there, and it really does give you my strategic mindset about what's going on, okay? The other thing I want you to do is, if you're a Twitterer, you need to follow me at WizCheck6. okay? Whiz is my call sign. You'll find out why in a couple minutes, or maybe you won't. And check 6 means look behind you, right? 12 o'clock's in front of you, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Why? Because you need to be on this site right here. And again, I don't get paid by these guys. I know the guys that started StockTwits, but StockTwits is an incredibly good resource if you're in trading. See, some people like, I've never even heard of this. Folks, remember back in the day, Yahoo Finance, that thing turned into a shit sandwich. Excuse my French. Because of spam and penny stocks and all this stuff. You post one thing, they block you and your ISP. This is a great, clean resource with smart people on it, okay? The reason I want you to follow me on or Twitter is because this is my name on StockTwits. WizCheck6, that's me, okay? And I got like 6,500 followers on here. It is a lot of good content. So again, WizCheck6, follow me on Twitter, and make sure you go to StockTwits. Again, free to join. It's a great resource, and if you haven't been looking at StockTwits, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Finally, please do me a favor. Head to our TGO Facebook page and click like. That goes out to my social media director, who would kill me if I didn't put this. There's a lot of good content on here. I put out a lot of. If you like the rants, you need to like our Facebook page here. So do me a favor, head over to there. And finally, like I said, everything is recorded. Here's the replay page. There ain't anything on here because the first video that's going to go on this replay page is this one that you're watching right now. So everything's recorded. Do me a favor and add this to your favorites, because here's the replay page, okay? Right there. There we go. So replay page. Almost done with the administrative items, guys, and then we're going to get to killing MIGs. So there's the replay page. I'll put it out again tomorrow, folks, in case you didn't get it. All right. Way too much admin stuff, but those are the tactical items I wanted to get out of the way. There's the replay page. Follow me on Twitter and StockTwits, and I showed you where to get the SITREP, okay? Didn't mean to click on that. And we're good to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who was this guy that looks like he had way too much Red Bull in his coffee tonight? Who drinks coffee with dinner? I think my parents did, like Sanka, right? Hey, do you want a Sanka? No, Mom, I just had spaghetti. But anyway, my name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Whiz, and my parents, as far as I know, did love me. That's not my God-given name. I earned that as a call sign flying the FA-18 Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15 years. I graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School. Sound familiar? Options Weapons School. The Navy Fighter Weapons School is called what? Top Gun. And I also flew 44 combat sorties over Iraq. All right, dude, how'd you get from the cockpit to the trading pit? Well, grew up one of 6 kids, poor, well, lower middle class. Irish Catholic family from South Jersey, South Philly, South Jersey, what's the difference? And my parents always taught me service above self, right? You should serve your country. Lived on the Jersey Shore, the real Jersey Shore, not the disgusting one from MTV. And love the ocean, and I love flying. Those two things went together like a Reese's peanut butter cup. So ever since even my earliest memory, I literally wanted to be a Navy fighter pilot. My dad and I used to watch like the Bridges at Toko Ri or the Battle of Midway or all those type of movies, right? And that's where I started leaning. However, each day my dad sat there in his suit before he went to work, and we ate breakfast together. On the back of the Atlantic City Press, it had all these little the hieroglyphic symbols. I'm like, Dad, what are those? And he explained what they were, and stocks, and, well, son, if you go to McDonald's today and get one of those Happy Meals, the stock could go up, because he explained all that stuff to me, and I was very, very intrigued. So fast forward to me getting out of the Navy. I got off active duty in 2000, right in 2000, right? Just like a lemming. I followed all the other guys out the door to go be a rich airline pilot, right? Well, fortunately, I got picked up, and a lot of you said you're from Dallas or the Texas area there. I got picked up to fly the FA-18 Hornet at Naval Air Station Fort Worth. There you go, right there, the Hunters. Well, as luck would have it, or I guess you wouldn't call it luck, my first flight for American Airlines was scheduled to be on the morning of September 11th. So wife at the time came in and said, hey, man, you better come and take a look at the TV. Airplane hit the World Trade Center. I'm like, all right, man. First of all, I wanted to sleep in. Second of all, some idiot in a small plane in bad weather. Well, that's not what I saw. I saw clear weather. I saw a big hole. And then as I was standing there going through my mental aviation checklist of how something like that could have happened, boom, second plane hits. It took me probably 0.03 seconds to realize we were under attack. I raced into my bedroom, pushed the brand new American Airlines uniform out of the way that was still in the plastic from the cleaners, right, and being tailored, threw that thing out of the way, and grabbed my Navy flight suit, put that on, didn't even tie my boots, man. I almost broke my neck tripping out the door. Jumped into my old 89 Porsche 911, man, and I broke the land speed record getting out to Naval Air Station Fort Worth and got out there just as they closed it and went to a combat posture. A couple of the F-16 guys next door made it out there. The TANG, the Texas Air National Guard, the SPADs from the 457 Fighter Squadron. Me and another Hornet buddy and 4 F-16 guys. We went from potentially flying in airliners that day, me for the first time, to shooting one down, to maybe even shooting down a squadron mate. Most of the guys that flew for my reserve squadron in Fort Worth flew for American Airlines, man. That's their headquarters. So imagine being ordered to shoot down an airliner that day, let alone flown by one of your best friends that you flew combat sorties over Iraq with. Absolutely surreal, absolutely incredible day. But guess what, man? People had it a hell of a lot worse than I did. So I had to dust myself off, man. Hey, get airborne. You got a mortgage, you got a wife, you got a kid. Time to get serious, man. So I got serious about something that I was treating as a hobby and making a boatload of extra money on the side. It was trading. I applied everything that I learned flying fighters to my trading, and it worked with extreme greatness. I also went out on the speaking circuit, and I applied everything I was learned flying fighters not only to my trading but to the business world. Teaching businesses to have a strategy, implementing tactics, holding people accountable, debriefing, contingency planning. How about red teaming a plan, ripping it apart, pretending the enemy came in and ripped your plan apart and making it better? And he even wrote a book about it. But as I was doing all this and working with companies like the ones you see on the screen, why do you care? Take a look at the companies on the screen, folks. You will find no other financial professional in this industry that has the experience that I do. I'm going to be going on I think it's a 25-city speaking tour for JBS. If you haven't heard of JBS, Google it. Google JBS, Brazilian scandal, and they might get the president impeached. But this gives me a unique access into what's going on in all of these sectors. Okay? Harry, it's $35, man. Just click on that drop down and I'll hook you up with an autographed copy of my book. I'll show you where. But folks, look at these industries. Now, for all the attorneys in the audience, I'm not one of them, but I'll tell you this. I'm a fiduciary for these companies. I can't tell you what's going on in them, who they're buying, nothing. And I can't trade in these names either. I don't. But guess what? This gives me what we call SA, situational awareness. So I knew what's going on in these sectors, who's buying, who's hiring, who's acquiring, who's firing, what's going on, and it worked extremely well. How well did it work? Little old Whiz, man. I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms in the world. You see that beautiful building right there? That's called the Chicago Board of Trade. And you see these big windows right here? That firm right there is called Peak 6 Investments, okay? The largest vol arb firm, equity options vol arb firm in the world. I popped up on their radar and they said, hey man, what are you doing? And why don't you come do it for us? I was like, is this a joke? Are you kidding me? You multi-billion dollar firm and little old Whiz. Well, everything that you're doing is everything that we need. And I did it. And I went up there, and I'll be lying to you guys if I told you I didn't feel like Valentine in trading places. I felt like two rich white people were betting $1 on me. And I think we all kind of won. So that was me. I ended up going up there and becoming their managing director of strategy for this $2.5 billion vol arb firm, little old retail trader Whiz, just by applying all the things that I learned flying fighters. And it ain't rocket surgery, folks. Look at me. I'm the village idiot, man. If I know how to do this stuff, I can impart it onto you. I'm going to break it down to the basic blocking and tackling so you can potentially become a better, more profitable options trader. While I was up there, guess what I also did in my spare time? I was the founder and the CEO of the Options News Network. Any of you watch that? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right, Steve. It was like the CNBC for options. I was the host of like 3 or 4 of the programs. We shot on the floor of the SIBO and the CBOT, and I gave men and women like you, little old mom and pop in tennis shoes, right, a behind the scenes look at what was going on in the options market. But to be honest with you, anybody from Chicago here? Before I really, really, really badmouth, I'm not going to badmouth Chicago. Love the Midwest, love the people. Can't stand where I ended up, which is down here in South Florida, because the people are just awful. I wish I could take every Midwesterner and transplant them down to South Florida. But anyway, Chicago winters were best left for somebody other than me, and I decided to move down here to South Florida, where we started Top Gun Options 7 years ago. 7 years in business, folks, and that's my most important job right there, as the commanding officer of one of the coolest squadrons in the world. Those 3 little ones right there. All right. Let me check my timeline, man. We good? We are on time and on target. Excellent. Let's get airborne. Ladies and gentlemen, where you're viewing, not my ugly mug, but the other, where you're seeing this slide that says Top Gun Options, there's a little camera icon on the top of that screen. If you see something really cool, if you don't see anything really cool or learn anything this week that you want to take a screenshot of, I have failed miserably. But I'm going to get into a lot of stuff right now. I guarantee you're either going to take a screenshot or have a pen and a paper handy, okay? So here we go. I think it goes to My Documents or your desktop. I always get that backwards every time somebody asks me. I don't know. When you click that picture, it ends up on your computer somewhere. I think it's somebody do it right now and tell me where it is so I can do that once and for all. But folks, 7 years of service. We train. I beat that horse. We don't educate. Literally thousands and thousands of traders and investors of all experience levels, okay? And everything you're going to learn is combat tested and literally proven on Wall Street. Giles, Christine, thank you. It's on the desktop, folks. So we apply and we use what we call demo do. In the military, I didn't say, hey, here's how you do a loop. Go do it. I sat in a brief. That's why everything you're going to attend this week is called a brief. First of all, it's not called a long, is it? It's called a brief. And I say, I'm going to teach you how to do a loop today in the F-18. You read about it in your manuals, didn't you? Yes, Lieutenant Buckley. Now, here's how we're going to do it. Got it, Lieutenant Buckley. Then we go out to the airplane. We get airborne. And I say, sit in the back and watch me. And I demo a loop. And then after all is said and done, I say, you got it? You read about it? I briefed you on it. I demoed it. Now you do. This is how you learn. Okay? The demo do methodology. That's why tonight I'm going to demo our trade plan, and tomorrow I'm going to do, and you're going to do as well. 2016, folks, this was absolutely my career record-breaking performance. And you'll find out in a little bit why. All of the model portfolios that you're seeing right here in 2016 based on a $100,000 model portfolio. Why 100 grand, Whiz? I got 10. I heard you have a couple billionaires at TGO. We have 2 billionaires here. Folks, I don't give trading advice, okay? So a $100,000 portfolio is kind of right down the fairway with an average account size, all right? So this is the primary live trade brief model portfolio that you're going to see tomorrow morning. 125% return on risk last year. Holy shnikes. This was the urgent alert and the weekly options model portfolio. Right here, weekly options and urgent alert. $121,000 return in profits, 106% return on risk. Okay, and you ready for this? This is my embarrassing portfolio. The billionaires, guys, they do have their own money managers and portfolios. They trade options for sport, and they enjoy. One of them heard about me through my political rants, and both of them shall remain nameless. But folks, of course, they have people who manage their money. But guess what? They got a lot of play money that they like to trade with me at TGO. This is my embarrassing portfolio. I'm even embarrassed to show you guys. 101% return on risk. This was the accelerated retirement portfolio. How many? Raise your hand if you wouldn't mind making in your 401k or your retirement portfolio 101% last year. This portfolio broke it by $10. Look at that. $100,000 and $10. Exactly. Yeah, of course you would have. If you were here at TGO, you would have knocked the door off of it. Okay, I'm going to explain why 2016 was a banner year in a couple minutes. But before I do that, for all the people who might have half a brain, and I'm not saying that to poke, I'm saying that because it cracks me up that people expect to have all winning trades, okay? And when you do have a losing trade, man, they forget pretty soon about all the winning trades, don't they, okay? We lose some battles, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever go to one of these financial presentations and the lady or the guy doesn't have a slide like this, run as fast as you can out of the room or click the X in the top right. They're lying. Okay, we lose some battles, man. About a month ago, I had 2 weeks in a row of weekly options trades where I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. It happens. The objective is to win the war. But losing trades happen, folks. Let me get, and if you're a current member, you're not allowed to answer this. For all the folks who gave me an N at the beginning, like I'm new to TGO, Whiz, I want you to answer this. A professional trader wants to win or have a profitable trade blank % of the time. Go. I want you to write it down. Non-members only. If you're a member, thanks for showing up, but I want to see the non-member answers. A professional trader wants to win how many % of the time? Gil, you're a member. I just said no member. 70 to 95, 30. Holy crap, Karen. 60, 40, 70. Nicholas, 60 and up. 60, James. Okay. Jay, 50. 65, Madhavan. All right, guys, the average answer is 60. Professional traders want to win 60% of the time. For those of you that put under 50%, that's losing. You're losing money. So here at Top Gun Options, my win rate currently is 74. Let me round up. 75%. 3 out of 4 of my trades are winning trades. But you cannot win. That means 1 out of 4. Wow, now we're getting into the math, Wiz. You're losing me. That means 1 out of the 4 trades lose money. Now, I didn't like this guy. I thought he was an ass, but he had a great quote. Donald Rumsfeld. When it came to trading's combat, ladies and gentlemen, somebody's going to win in a trade and somebody's going to lose. And I'm going to teach you how to be on the right side. But he had a good quote. He said, in combat, and I'm saying in trading, there are known knowns, right? There are things we know. For example, Apple's got earnings coming up. Apple trade, it might be, that's a known known. There are also known unknowns. We know that Janet Yellen is speaking in front of the Senate and the House on Wednesday and Thursday. That's a known. It's unknown what she's going to say. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the Rumsfeld moment, there are unknown unknowns, meaning there are things we don't know that we don't know. You ready for this? I'll never forget this. I use this example every time because it's still to this day, it's a perfect example. 2 years ago, I think it was. Google, with the L, put on a weekly options iron condor. We do weekly options every Monday at 1 o'clock. We did it today at 1 o'clock, and I just showed you the 2 trades that are up 35 and 25% since this afternoon. Put an iron condor on Google. I'll never forget this, folks. I get to the gym, which I do. I go work out after the close, and I'm watching Comedy Central. You'll learn that Comedy Central to me is CNBC. Put on Comedy Central for the entertainment value, and guess what happens? Breaking news. Google has announced a name change to Alphabet. The stock is up 5% after hours. I laughed. It was hysterical to me. Wiz, you lost like $5,000 on that trade. Yeah, I did, and I didn't care because that's so stupid. First of all, nobody's ever, maybe the 5th generation behind me will call it Alphabet. None of us do. It's always and will be Google. It doesn't matter. Did I know they were going to announce a name change after I put on my iron condor? No. And if I did and traded on that information, I'd be in jail, or I should be in jail. So know that these type of things happen, ladies and gentlemen, just like in combat. If I spend 5 hours planning for a mission to go attack a Syrian airfield, and I look at everything, the satellite pictures, the intelligence, all the everything, and I am ready to go, and all of a sudden on my way into the target, here comes a missile coming up at me that I just not, it wasn't on the map, wasn't on the imagery, it was a mobile launcher that they just pulled out of their ass. That's okay. That's going to happen, folks. But guess what? Now I have a plan to deviate from, and I know how to try and beat that thing. So know this. Do not ever come to one of these things and listen to some dude or some lady boast about all their winning trades. It is simply physically impossible. Okay? I wanted to clear that up, folks, because, when I get on a streak and we're printing money, people love me. You get a losing trade, and people seem to forget that they have a hell of a lot of winning trades. All right. Here we go. Learning's about to occur. So if you've been clubbing mentally in the Bahamas for the past, 30 minutes, get back. Here we go. Here's my methodology. It's called SOT, strategic, operational, and tactical. Okay? And again, thank you, U.S. military. Since this is all open source, it's not like I'm going to pay them a royalty. But when you think about it, it makes sense. Many of you in this room tonight are very average retail traders. What do I mean by that? You're very, very tactical. You're going to wake up in the morning, put on your bunny slippers, take a drag of coffee, throw on CNBC, Comedy Central, and listen to a guy. If you take stock advice from a guy who uses an air horn and a cowbell, you deserve everything bad that's going to happen to you, to be honest with you. But you're very tactical. All right, well, they're talking about Tesla, and I kind of heard of Elon Musk, and I don't know, maybe I'll trade Tesla today, and then you're broke in a week. You blew out on that trade. It's because you're very tactical. We're not going to do that here, folks. I'm going to treat you like you're an admiral in the Navy or a general in the U.S. Marine Corps. I'm going to give you a brief. In every one of my live trading sessions throughout the week, you're going to sit there, chew on your cigar, and I'm going to get strategic for about 15 minutes. Here's what's going on around the globe. Here's what's going on in North Korea. Here's what's going on with China's GDP, or China and North Korea. What's going on with Russia? How's oil? What's going on in the Middle East? What did Mario Draghi have to say about ending his quantitative easing and starting the taper? Quack, 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 quack. We have to cover economic, political, and military events around the globe. How many of you, what was that, 3 years ago, woke up and you're like, where the hell is Cyprus, and why is the Dow down, why are the Dow futures down 600 points? Remember? Or how about Crimea? Vladimir Putin woke up one day and invaded Crimea. You're like, why is my Tesla position down 10 bucks on? You have to know these things. So after a 15-minute strategic brief, and I'm going to do this tomorrow morning, folks, I'm going to get operational. What's that mean? I'm going to talk here in the United States. What's going on domestically? What's Janet supposed to say this week? What are we doing with interest rates? How are earnings looking? How about the jobs report last week? All this stuff. How's the housing market looking? And how about the idiot Republican clown car and Obamacare? After we talk that, now you can see we're peeling back the onion, aren't we? We're going layers and layers deep. Now what can we do? Now and only now can we get tactical and do what? Trade. Now, hopefully a lot of light bulbs are going on right now. Like, I do not I know you don't trade like this, many of you folks. I know it. Thousands of you that have gone through our doors have gone, this has changed the way that I view the market and that I trade. Again, folks, it ain't rocket surgery, man. It's easy, but to be honest with you, if it was really, really easy, everybody would be doing it, and everybody would have these triple-digit returns in their portfolios. They don't. And I'll show you my year-to-date performance as well after I go through this acronym, okay? Write this down or listen, because these are the areas that have moved the markets. And it's funny because I had not feared 2016 on there. It was to fear 2016 last year. I added an N. What country begins with the letter N that we should be worried about right now? Somebody help me out, since I'm an idiot. And members aren't allowed to answer. Christine, you answered. You got it, Cheatin. That's exactly right. North Korea. Kat, Roy, Don, you got it, guys. North Korea. Ladies and gentlemen, On July 4th, just like he did last year, he shot off a bottle rocket. Okay? Why do we care about this bottle rocket and not all the other ones? I care about all of them, folks. 80,000 troops are in harm's way. Okay? Does anybody know where the launcher that was made for this ICBM, where was that launcher made? Where was the launcher made for the North Korean ballistic missile? You got it, Kirk. You got it, Cat. Not probably China. It was China. So, ladies and gentlemen, right now, we did have 3 battle groups off the coast of North Korea. One of my best friends is the commander of the air wing on one of these ships. Kim has seen Saddam Hussein at the end of a noose. Kim has seen Muammar Gaddafi at the end of a bayonet. Who was I talking to the other day? Somebody didn't believe me. If you don't know how Muammar Gaddafi died, Google it, and don't have children around. But folks, this guy ain't giving up his nukes, period. Donald Trump, this dude's not allowed to have nukes, and we'll take care of it since China can't. How does this end? It could end with 10 million people dead within, there's how many? 13,000 artillery pieces pointed at Seoul, South Korea, right across the DMZ. 10 million people. War would be horrific. Do you guys care about this? Exactly, JD. It would end huge. So, and JJ, you're right. Kim is crazy enough to use nukes. Folks, he's surrounded by yes men. He's surrounded by generals that think he's the smartest thing in the world. And if they look at him weird, he ties them up to a post downrange and he shoots anti-aircraft artillery at them until their body disintegrates. Do you think he's surrounded by anybody who's telling him, you know what, man, this is getting a little serious? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not have some sort of disaster, my God, puts or this is not in your radar, you're nuts. Okay? And he is sick, guys, and you can Google this and figure it out on your own. One of the benefits you get here from TGO, folks, I got best friends who are admirals. I have a best friend who's a 4-star admiral who was the commander-in-chief of the Pacific Fleet. Let's just say I get a lot of good intel. The dude is nuts. He's got one of those venereal diseases that drives you crazy. And he doesn't look like he's starving, does he? Okay, we got to move on, guys. But North Korea, you're gonna hear a lot of whizisms this week. Okay, one of the whizisms you're gonna hear is the market only cares when it cares. And I know you just fell out of your chair with the blinding brilliance of that, but let me say it again. The market only cares when it cares. CNBC will have a countdown clock or this or government shut. Oh, wait, now I'm supposed to hear about that. Oil's at $41. It was at 42 yesterday. Now the market cares because it cares. The market, when you wake up and the futures are down 1,000 points because there's war in the Korean Peninsula, are you hedged? Oh, in not fear is oil. Everybody remember what happened for the past couple January and Februarys when oil went through 30? Holy crap, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. Where are we now? WTI Brent settling in lower to mid-40s. And again, the market only cares when it cares, but we have got to keep an eye on oil. Remember, folks, Schlumberger, Halliburton, Chesapeake, NOV, I've worked with a bunch of these companies. They, in the blink of an eye, when oil implodes, they shit can 15 to 30,000 people. I've flown into Midland, Texas, gotten in a pickup truck and driven a couple hundred miles in the middle of nowhere and worked with roughnecks. These people, there goes their home, there goes the real estate market there goes the coffee shop that supports it. So low oil prices, contrary to the idiots on CNBC who say low oil prices are good for the economy, your little $25 in every other week of savings at the pump ain't enough to get rid of a $100,000 dude in Midland, Texas losing his job. We have got to keep an eye on oil, and I will for you. Now, the T in not fear is this was a career call for me, ladies and gentlemen. I was one of the only, there's 4 other people that I know of. Dennis Gunlock from Double Line Capital. The guy manages $94 billion, so I love being in his company. A couple other hedge fund managers, guys. Guess who did it? I did. throughout the fall, I predicted with all my members and all my videos and all my positions that not only were they Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Citigroup, they were all full of shit. The polls were wrong. I knew he was going to win. Why? Because I was out on the road speaking, ladies and gentlemen. I give keynotes. I'd get off the stage speaking to the Fortune 7, McKesson, Fortune 8, 7. 1,500 salespeople at the cocktail party afterwards. People would come up to me whispering, like looking around, I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm like, why are you whispering? I knew the polls were lying to us. And Morgan Stanley, or no, Citi, 2 days before the election, Hillary Clinton wins running away. And God forbid Trump wins. If he does, the market implodes 10 to 15%. Lies, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely crushed it. Wisdradamus, exactly. Thanks, guys. So I did it. Nailed it. And that's one of the reasons our portfolios crushed it in 2016. Told you to get long Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. Told you to get long the S&P 500. We nailed it. And I'm not going to sit here and I had a slide full of all my members telling me, or, telling us how they did with all their financial positions. I'm not going to do that. Maybe later in the week. But ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at one of the only guys that got that right. And right now, I'm a little nervous, and we'll talk about that when we get into the trade plan next. The T in not fear is terror, folks. It sucks. Nobody cares anymore. We're not going to care until it hits here. Hey, something happened in Belgium. Who cares? Oh, Paris. That sucks. Yeah. Oh, the beach thing. Yeah, a guy with a truck plowed into people, killed a lot of people. Who cares? Folks, I even remember on 9/11 that some people on the West Coast were like watching it going, that's kind of a New York thing. Are you kidding me? So here's the problem with us like shrugging off terror. On the one hand, idiot liberals usually go, that shows them that they can't win. That ain't going to keep them from doing it, folks. Here's breaking news. When they do see us shrug it off, you know what they do? They plan something bigger and worse. And if you really want to not go to bed tonight, I'll tell you the next thing is going to be biological or chemical. And if you don't know that a couple years ago, there was like 23, 25 ISIS dudes found dead in an Algerian camp because they were trying to weaponize Ebola. How about that? Thanks, Harry. I don't pat myself on the back often. When I'm trying to introduce myself to new potential members, I gotta tell them that was my career high. But folks, the next thing is going to be bio or chemical, and it'll scare the hell out of you. All right, let's get upbeat. How about the Fed, man? That's the F in not fear. Janet's speaking this week, folks. Blistering, huge jobs report last week. I'm going to cover all this stuff more detail tomorrow morning and put on live trades, but I'm giving you my acronym, folks. Write this one down. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. When interest rates are low, stocks will what? Stocks will grow. Makes sense, doesn't it? So if Janet, but all right, Whiz, she's already raised a couple interest rate. Folks, we're still in a near zero rate interest environment. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm old enough to remember my parents talking about like home loans that were what, 18%, double digits. Jimmy Carter, Gerald Ford. Folks, Fed policy, we're drunk. The Fed chief, Ben Bernanke, and her, it's like the Pope coming out and telling Catholics that hell doesn't exist. That this market can only go up. It's insane. So the Fed is the F that we need to talk about, and guess what? The other F we're going to talk about, financials. Here's my Olympic analogy. Goldman Sachs, folks, they're the Death Star. We have a Goldman Sachs put under our position. What do you mean, Wiz? There are 5 people, 5 heavies from Goldman Sachs in the cabinet. 2 of them are secretaries. And in all interest of disclosure, I've had dinner with Steve Mnuchin and Khan. My sister, I'm the underachiever of the family. My sister, if you want to Google her name, Kia Buckley, CIA Buckley. She got Woman of the Year in New York a couple, 3-4 years ago, and she runs Dune Capital in New York. All these dudes were there. The Treasury Secretary, what's his name, Corzine, who's should be in federal prison, but I digress. Goldman Sachs, guys, the gold medal winner. JP Morgan. We have a JP Morgan trade on that's up, what, $35,000 in 10 months, folks. One JP Morgan trade up 35 grand. And finally, the Morgan Stanley is kind of my bronze medalist. Kunai, who's that? My sister? Yeah, Chief Investment Officer, Partner, Managing Director, and member of the Investment Committee. That's my sister, man. The apple obviously fell far from the tree, Kunai. Europe, that's the E in not fear. You know what? I should add that to my, I'm gonna write that down, Kunai. Let me write this down real quick. It's funny because I also, not that it's a REIT, guys. It's a real estate investment trust that my sister runs, but still, she gives me a lot of good situation awareness. And my sister, if you look on my Instagram, knows the Donald very, 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 very well. And I'm not name dropping here, guy. Whatever. It's on my Instagram. Since my sister runs a REIT, she knows the Donald very well. So I got a lot of good stuff, folks. You need to become a member. Just trust me. All right, Europe. Mario taking away the punch bowl. We saw what, a week or two ago? When was the last Mario threat to take away the punch bowl? That was also a political potential pullback too, right, folks? Where is it? Where's my S&P 500? So, right around here. That's where Mario said, right there, folks. So remember, for all you political, I hate your politics and you talking about it, Whiz, sell the State of the Union. There's the Obamacare implosion. The idiot Republicans who voted 63 times to repeal Obamacare under Obama can't vote once to repeal it under a Republican. Furious. There's a pullback on Obamacare. There's the Jim Comey memo where we found out the guy's either a felon or he's a felon. He either committed perjury or he didn't do his job as a federal officer. And when he saw somebody trying to obstruct justice, he didn't put him in bracelets. So the dude's either a felon or a felon. So there's that pullback. Now this one, this little chop around here was about what? Mario, man. Him taking away the punch bowl in Europe. They're not digging it. Okay, the A in not fear is Asia. I made a call last week to get out of all of our FXI positions. Write that down. FXI, if you're not familiar with it. I took profits in Urgent Alert for about 10 grand or whatever it was, and I think in the other portfolio as well that we bailed out of. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, before Admiral Natter, who I've met before, he was a skipper, one of the carriers I was on for a week or two, whatever. He's right. He said today that before we fire any shot at North Korea, and guys, I don't think it's going to be a shot. It's going to be a Bin Laden raid, a couple SEAL teams, and some UAVs. The guy ain't sleeping in the same place every night. He's not riding in his limos. He's taking like regular people cars, which all 3 people in North Korea that own a car. That's what's going to happen. But anyway, he believes, and I believe too with my sources, that Trump is going to lean, he's going to start putting the screws to China. What did Trump promise to do, ladies and gentlemen? And I'll give Trump shit all night long, guys, for everybody who thinks I'm some dyed-in-the-wool Trump supporter. What did Trump promise? What did Trump promise he would do day one to China when he got in the office? What did he say he'd do immediately? That's exactly right. Kirk, JJ, Cat. Label China a currency manipulator. Did he? No, he didn't. And I think the main reason he didn't was what? For some negotiating room. Hey, look, got an office, huge, huge victory. Whiz called it. Not too many people did. Whiz, huge, good man. Anyway, I'm not going to label you a currency manipulator unless you sit on your retarded cousin. They didn't. The damn launcher they just used is from China. So I think there's going to be, before we start shooting and killing people, what's going to happen? I think we're going to go after Chinese banking, Chinese sanctions. Literally, they were, what, 15 miles up the road a couple months ago, President Xi and Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and did what? Great meeting. Good man. He's going to try. 2 weeks ago, he said, well, at least China tried. Now it's our turn. I think you got to get out of FXI, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, guys. So that's the A in not fear. There's a lot going on in Asia. And finally, guys, Russia. I mean, I feel like I'm CNN right now. I don't even want to talk about Russia, but I bring this slide up, and then we're going to get into my trade plan for this reason and this reason only. I'm going to tell you that I wear 2 suits at Top Gun Options. Figuratively, not literally. You ready? I wear a flight suit, folks. I'm going to tell you how I feel about a trade as an American, as a guy who buried 11 of the finest men this country has ever and will ever know. 11 people I buried in 15 years, guys. So, but I also wear a $6,000 Armani suit. I'm lying. If I ever spent $6,000 on a suit, I'd kick my own ass. So I'm joking. But here's my point. As a portfolio manager, I'm Gordon Gekko, man. If being long-term bullish on Russia via the RSX, Romeo Sierra X-ray, if being long-term bullish on Russia is going to make me money, I don't give a shit. That's my Gordon Gekko moment. That's me and my $6,000 Armani. I don't care. Greed, for lack of a better word, is awesome. But then I'm going to put my flight suit on too and tell you that this is a hold your nose trade. This guy was a KGB colonel when I was a very young lieutenant in the Navy. He and I meet in a dark alley. I guarantee you I would have killed him first. But that's my hold your nose trade. So I'll tell you how I feel about a trade. I don't like being long-term bullish on China. Folks, they're our banker. Do you know how much debt China and Japan have of ours? It's disgusting, the amount of debt that Obama put us in. Spiraling downhill, folks. Deeper and deeper into debt. I don't like being bullish on China. I don't like being bullish on Russia. But I do if it's going to make money. Make sense? So flight suit, I'll tell you how I really feel about a trade, and then I'm going to hold my nose and do it. Okay? So let's move on. Perfect timing. Now, under the handouts, we are right on schedule to finish right on time, guys. And I don't like going over on Monday night because I want you to get rest and be airborne for our 10 a.m. primary live trade brief in the morning. Okay? So over to the right underneath the handout section, you should see something that says TGO Trade Plan, one-page PDF. Click on it. You don't have to print it out or down, but have it out right now because I'm going to go through the 7-step trade plan. This is the only time I'm going to do that this week. The rest of the briefs this week, I'm just going to do. I'm pulling it out and I zip through it. So if you're hearing my voice and you didn't join us live Monday night, it's because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I probably said to you, go watch the replay from Monday night. So this will be the big one. You ready? Here we go. So for all of you who have said, Whiz, and I get this from members all the time, I've always heard that you need a trade plan. People, all these pros talk about it, and then they leave the room before they give me one. You know why? Because they don't have one. They're lying. Men lie, numbers don't. Here it is, folks. I'm going to go through each step. So I'm warming you up here, and I'm vaping, vamping a little bit so you're ready to take notes. 7-step trade plan. Determine your strategic mindset. Identify your target that you're going to trade, develop commit criteria, select the tactic you're going to employ, how you're going to employ that tactic, mid-course guidance, and then your exit points. Okay? Here we go. Oops, sorry about that. And of course it went all the way. Let me unhide all these slides. That was stupid. And that was a quick trade plan review. Any more questions? Let me hide this one, the eye chart. It's too much to get into tonight for you, and we're good to go. Here we go, guys. You ready? Strategic mindset. You can only be one of 4 things. You ready? You can be bullish. You can be bearish, and both those better be self-explanatory, or you should leave. You could think the market's going to be volatile, or you can be neutral. You know what, Wiz? I think we're going to chop sideways. And there's also variations of this. I am very volatile, as you can most likely tell. I am cautiously bullish. I am very, very, very bearish. So you can have a little bit of variations. You ready for this? Write this down because here's step 1 for me. I am cautiously bullish on this market. The cautiously part I will take care of with some hedges that I'm going to show you this week. How to potentially profit if the market goes down. The bullish part is a no-brainer. Take a look at the damn chart, folks. Cautiously bullish. The cautiously, each one of these big pullbacks, the Comey memo and the Obamacare, these 2 pullbacks, I didn't sell. The State of the Union, I didn't have a hedge on because I knew he wasn't going to say anything new. Here And here we had two bullish double verticals on VXX. And if you don't know what a double vertical is, don't worry, I'll teach you. That printed money when the market imploded. I knew the Republicans were going to be like Lucy with the football. Idiots. Didn't know Comey memo was coming out. You see this? Here's a perfect neutral. What's my strategic mindset here? Neutral. Way, way too quiet. Write this down, guys. You ready? When vol is cheap, you buy it. Not vol, idiot, VIX. When vol is cheap, what do, folks? Say it with me. When vol is cheap, you buy it. When it's expensive, you sell it. Here's the resting heart rate of the VIX. It was about an 11. What happened? Every once in a while, something would freak the market the hell out. There's the failure of idiot Republicans to pass Obamacare repeal. There's the Comey memo. But what happens? It gets back to its resting heart rate. Guess what, folks? Vol is incredibly cheap down here around 10. Okay, look at us. We're at an 11. Wiz, you scared the hell out of me with North Korea and Russia. And yeah, you should be. You should be getting on some cheap volatility right now, folks, and I'm going to show you how to do that, but I digress, okay? Let me get back to my... I wanted to give you a quick, what are you, Wiz? I'm cautiously bullish. The market, in the absence of nuclear war or something horrific happening, the market's getting bid up, folks. You have to trade the market you have, not the market you want. Not that I want a down market, folks. As an options trader, I really don't care which way the market goes, up, down, or sideways. We can print money in either direction, guys. Don't care. As an American, I kind of want it to go up because that means our economy is getting better and I like my neighbors. Okay, here we go. Now that you know your strategic mindset, Wiz, win the war in Iraq, cautiously bullish. That's the 50,000 foot, that's the star we're navigating to. What's the next step? Identify the target, folks. What's the stock, the ETF, or the index that I want to trade because I'm cautiously bullish? Tomorrow, I think we are going to look at either a Jan 19 trade on Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, and we're going to take a look at a front month on Apple. We've been printing money on Apple, guys. Look at this. When was this? A week or two ago? Look at this Apple trade. Where's my Apple? Whatever. It was a $4,200 gain right there, man. Again, men lie, numbers don't. $4,200 by the time it expired. That when I took the screenshot, it was up 95%, and it still had about $150 to go. Anybody like making $4 grand? This was an Iron Condor, weekly Iron Condor, a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Raise your hand if you would have liked to have made $4 grand in a week. On limited risk, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't understand options trading, know this. That's not, I couldn't have lost $1 million. One of my SOPs, standard operating procedure, says I don't want to risk more than $5 grand on any one trade. Why, Wiz? Well, that's 5% of my model portfolio. Where'd you get that from, 5%? That's me, man. I've been doing this for almost a quarter of a century, and that's my rule of thumb. You might be 2.5%, you might be 15%, you might be 50%, and then you'd be an idiot. But you have to come up with your own SOP that says, I don't want to risk more than $5 grand on any one trade, or 2,500, or $1 grand, or 15. I don't know. I'm not you. I can't give you investment advice. But of course you would, folks. That would have paid for a 2-year membership into our service with one trade. One trade, one shot, one kill, guys. So step 2 is the target. And we'll get in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., live trade brief, a couple real trades. Step 3, ladies and gentlemen, and this is very, very, very important. Gil, if you don't know what an Iron Condor is, you're in the right place. Why? Because I'm going to give you an 1.5 to 2 hour training session at night when the market's closed on an Iron Condor, from this is why it's called that, to this is how you set it up, to this is how you use it, to this is how you manage it. If you don't know what an Iron Condor is, folks, welcome home. So, commit criteria. The most important part of the planning process, folks. It breaks my heart to bump into people who don't have this. You ready? Why are you committing capital to this trade? It never fails. I'll go on the road, give a keynote to somewhere. Hey, Wiz, I trade. Okay, great. What are you in? Apple. I got an Apple position on. Why? I like Apple. That's dumb. Why? I have an iPhone. That's less dumb. Why? Folks, if you can't spit out 3 to 5 sentences immediately as to why you're in a trade, why are you in it? I challenge you, not tonight because I want you to get some rest before our live trade brief in the morning. I challenge you, and I get emails in support about this after I challenge you, that I was right. I know I am, man. I've been doing this. This ain't my first rodeo. I want you, in a free moment, to look at every position currently in your portfolio. And I want you to see if you can spit out 3 to 5 sentences of why you're in it. If you have to look at that Costco, long call diagonal with protective put and go, okay, I think too late. You're dead. Why are you in this trade? I call it the elevator pitch, folks. If you and I got on the 35th floor, by the time we get to the lobby, I better be looking at you going, holy crap, why am I not in that Costco trade? That is your elevator pitch, guys. And if it ever changes, why are you still in the trade? Doesn't that make sense? Look at the top left of my slide. Discipline, risk management, superior execution. How many of you put an Apple trade on? It starts going against you. Ah, crap. That's all right. Apple doesn't hate me. Apple loves me. I got news for you, folks. Apple doesn't give a shit who you are. They'd steamroll over your own house and your own mother, folks. If you're the reason that you got into a trade changes, why are you in it? I will teach you the discipline, guys. I swear to God, like that Catholic nun with a ruler, man, I'm going to crack your knuckles. Okay? So, if something changes in your commit criteria, either adjust the trade or eject. Give the jet back to the taxpayers, ladies and gentlemen. Step 4 is the tactic. If you know that buying a call is bullish and buying a put is bearish, welcome to Top Gun Options. That's all you need to know. And I'm going to change, even if you don't become a member by Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, I'm going to change the way you talk about options with this 2 minutes right here. You ready? There is no such thing as an options strategy. Well, Whiz, I sell covered calls. That's a great strategy. You're wrong. I mean, I'm wrong. No, you're wrong. Selling covered calls, an iron condor, cash secured puts, a long call diagonal. Ladies and gentlemen, those are not strategies. Those are tactics. A strategy is saving for college, short-term income generation, buying a boat by the fall. Those are strategies, folks. Win the war in Iraq. Tactics support a strategy. An iron condor, a call spread, a vertical spread. Those are tactics. We good? Don't ever call it a strategy again. And I will take personal responsibility. I will pat myself on the back about this, that I changed that terminology in a 4-block radius around the board of trade. To this day, I go to Chicago, people are like, well, the options tactic. I'm like, yeah, I wonder where they got that. I did it, folks, and I will take credit for that. So how do we select our tactic? Well, I'm cautiously bullish, Whiz. This is my target, and here's my commit criteria. Now we can pick the tactic, folks, and I'm going to teach you all the tactics that you need to know. I'm not going to teach you the tactics that you don't need to know. Does that make sense? Folks, I knew how to fly and fight the Hornet. I kind of knew how the flight control system worked, but I'm not a booger eater, folks. People got paid to build that thing. I got paid to sit in a lecture. I don't need to know the absolute innards of it. Push the stick forward, the houses get bigger. Pull the stick back, the houses get smaller. Capiche? So don't worry about in-depth super, well, Whiz, I trade a reverse calendar spread with a twist, back ratio, reverse spread. I don't even know what that is, guys. Yo soy caveman. I'm going to break it down to the basic blocking and tackling for you, okay? I'm going to give you 8 weeks of training in this type of setting, and you get all your manuals, okay? So, step 5 of our trade plan. Now, let's talk about employing it. If I am doing it in Iron Condor, I'm going to talk through the trade details, the individual legs they're called. I'm going to sell this bear call spread. I'm going to put on this bull put spread. And here's the price range that I'm going to try and get filled at, okay? We're going to cover all of this tomorrow morning live in the market, folks. Again, tonight, welcome aboard brief. Tonight, strategic, operational, tactical, SOT, I got it, and the trade plan. So tomorrow, live in the market, I'm going to show you how I tactically employ a trade. Step 6, folks, mid-course guidance. For the love of God and all things holy, how many of you squeeze the trigger on a trade and kind of close your eyes and go, man, I hope that goes through the uprights? You know, that's like me dropping a bomb in anger and going, man, I hope that hits bad people. Do you think that's how we operate? Now, the liberals in the media and our enemy, which kind of are the same thing in my opinion nowadays, might want you to think, but I never dropped a bomb in anger, folks, or squeeze a trigger on any real trade with real capital and gone, I hope. We contingency plan, folks. We, before we squeeze the trigger, we go, what if this trade starts going against us? How are we going to adjust it? And when it hits this point, just like when I get a low fuel light, I know exactly what to do. I turn towards home and start doing stuff. If you're the type of person that with a trade plan goes, yep, low fuel light's on, and do like the movie Top Gun and like maybe tap the gauge a little bit to get more gas, you're an idiot. So mid-course guidance, folks, I'm going to teach you to come up with what I call an SOP, standard operating procedure. So in the fog of war, folks, in the fog of trading, you don't sit there going, ah, crap, what do I do? You know what to do because we covered in what? We covered it in the brief. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever got a chance to listen to an air-to-air mission or a combat mission, it's over the radio, it's usually very what? Quiet. The only time where voices are raised or there's a lot of chatter is what? Is when something ain't going as planned. Can that happen? Yeah. Google announces a name change. Well, I got shot down. Not much you can do on that one. But know this, folks. We know what to do with a trade before we ever put it on. I do not decide what I'm going to do if I get shot at by a missile over Syria. When I get shot at by a missile over Syria, folks, it's stupid. You deserve to die if that's when you wait to decide. And finally, folks, step 7. This is where we identify our exit points. Thank you, Kunai. I appreciate that. A lot of positive comments. Thank you. Guys, I feel like a Hair Club for Men commercial. I'm not only a member, I'm the president. Guys, I eat my own dog food, man. You're going to see this live in the market tomorrow and throughout the week. This works. 7 years of this. Over 10, I think we did pass 10,000 people, 10,000 members in the past 7 years. It's been phenomenal. This stuff works. When you hit your profit objective, get out. Pigs get slaughtered. Hogs get fat, pigs get slaughtered. Get out when you hit your max loss. Ladies and gentlemen, I call this the Colin Powell rule. Okay? The Colin Powell rule is this. Remember, Iraq invades Kuwait. George Bush the first says, hey, General, get them out of Kuwait. Yes, sir. Well, hold on, Mr. President. Before you leave, when do we declare victory? What does victory look like so we know before we get in? That's coming from a dude who served in Vietnam, which was a complete clown car. Very, very smart man. Now I'm going to ask you, and I'm not going to say your names because I'm nice. You ready for this? How many of you have had a credit spread on? Okay, you sold a bull put spread. Apple's going up, Whiz. Sold a bull put spread. It's Tuesday. There's $300 left in this trade, man. $300 of premium sitting there, man. I'm going to let it expire worthless. And then Friday, you're on the golf course. Breaking news. It turns out that Tim Cook is Satan and Cupertino, California is hell. The stock is now at 0. How many of you have turned how many of you have turned a 70, 80, 90% winning trade into a 100% losing trade? Go. Kat, not recently. Christy, I know you guys have it because you're members. Exactly, guys. Wait, I didn't mean to say your names. You know what I meant. My members don't because they know we're going to get out before this happens. When your max loss is hit or when your max profit is hit, get out. Kat, I'm out at 80% profit. Just haven't seen a good credit spread recently. There you go, Kat. At least you have that. Greg, too many times. That's exactly right, my friend. It's the discipline that you're going to learn here at TGO. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, sometimes I fly past that low fuel light. You know why? Because the front page of every Navy flight manual has one paragraph that says this: nothing in this manual takes the place of good head work and judgment of the pilot in command. So I will be the first one to tell you that sometimes I'll be in a trade where I call them a lucky strike moment, right? Let me go grab my filterless cigarette and sit here. It's because I believe my strategic mindset and my commit criteria are so sound that I'm going to blow off the SOP. If it works, you get a medal. If it doesn't, they pull your wings. So there will be those moments, but I tell my members that, like, hey guys, it's at the eject point. I'm staying with the airplane. Does that make sense? Okay. Did it once. Lesson learned from TGO. There you go, Rob. Well done. Deb, how do you balance still having a few weeks left in the trade and ejecting at the eject point? Deb, remember, before you get into a trade, you know that, hey, if it hits this profit, I'm out. If it hits this loss, I'm out. So there is no balancing. When it hits, you do it. Okay? All right, guys. So at the end of the day, you don't want to be this dude, but you do. I'm going to ask you guys a question. It's an incredible clip. You can Google it on YouTube. Canadian F-18 crash, airshow crash. Write that down and watch it after the webinar tonight. This guy, look at his neck. First of all, the jet's sideways, and the ground is just out of view here. He ejected. They did the math, folks. If he had waited to eject, half of the blink of the eye I just gave you, half of a blink of an eye, not a full blink of an eye. If he had waited a half a blink of an eye longer, he would have ejected straight into the ground. You can see how the jet's sideways and he's upright because the ejection seat, the Martin Baker in the F-18 has a gyro in it that if you eject inverted and you're 200 feet, it gives you enough room to get you a full parachute. Now let me ask you a question. This F-18, this Canadian F-18 guy, let me use my pen here. He was flying down the runway at 200 feet, demonstrating the slow speed capability of the Hornet. And he was at a high angle of attack. His nose was parked up, and if you were underneath him on the runway, you would have passed him in your car. At 85 miles an hour, you would have looked up, and you would have passed an F-18. All of a sudden, you see his left engine, you see that port engine right here? Something bad happened. Was it bird strike, compressor stall, whatever it is. You see that wide open engine? That means no thrusties coming out. You see that? That means thrusty coming out, which means what? No thrust and a lot of thrust here. Poof. Now I'm going to ask you guys this question. Members, you're not allowed to answer again. I love when you guys show up. This is for the new folks, the potential new folks. When did this flight lieutenant make the decision to eject out of this aircraft? You ready? Go. When did he decide to eject? And here we go. David, before he got in, when he was in the sim practicing it, before getting in the plane, warning sign. Guys, well done. And of course, some of my members answered. He made this decision, ladies and gentlemen, before he ever got in the airplane. You know when he made the decision, I was gonna give my first and only gold star out tonight if somebody got this. What's the name of of what we're going to be doing each? When you're in a live trading something with me, what's it called? Exactly, Steve. It's called a brief. He sat in the brief before he went flying and said, if this happens during that one maneuver, I'm out of the airplane. I'm giving the jet back to the Canadian taxpayers. My point, and you better see the analogy, folks, or don't sign up and be a member here. Trading is combat. Why wouldn't you use the same methodologies that I use to fly and fight the Hornet in your trading? Why wouldn't you decide, you know what, man, this trade sucks. It's time to give this trade back to the taxpayers before you wait that half a blink of an eye and you're dead, man. Now, obviously, in trading, you get to go home at night, man. But the significant other probably ain't too happy, man. So everything I'm going to teach you and that you've learned tonight is to prevent, first of all, we don't want to be in this situation. We want good airplanes, man. We want good trades, but if we ain't in a good one, let's get out of it before it's too late. Okay? Holy crap, man. Everybody look at your clock. Literally, I just looked at my cell phone and said 9:14, and it just went to 9:15. Somebody give me a hell yeah. Did I say this would last an hour and 15 minutes? I think that's the first time in my career that I've done an options weapons school intro that I finished to the minute. Hans, Whiz, any idea for the date, time of the next 4th OWS where we discuss Iron Condors? Hans, options weapons school classes are every Tuesday and Thursday night at 7. It's tomorrow night at 7. On time, Skipper, you got it, man. That was pretty cool. I am going to give myself a little bit of a golf clap for that. That was pretty damn good, man. All right, guys. There are some good questions. Let me and there's, yes, that is my trading cockpit. That's the cockpit of the FA-18 Hornet. Pretty cool looking picture there. So real quick review. Tonight, you learned who I was. Going forward, you can call me Whiz. And we just had a live event down here in Miami about a month ago. Awesome. Got to meet a lot of members. We're going to be doing another live event out in Lake Tahoe in end of October, beginning of November. No, we're not going to go fishing with Fredo or the heads of the 5 families, but it's going to be a beautiful time of the year out there that we get to meet people. Very, very looking forward to it. Kat, I don't think they have snow that early. If they do, we will be skiing. I had to write some notes down. You found out who I am. You found out a little bit about Top Gun options. You saw our, oh, wait. Hold on. Nobody go anywhere, guys. Here is our year-to-date portfolios, guys. Whew, forgot about this. This one is the primary portfolio. It is up about $16,000 year-to-date. Okay? Oops. Let me here's the next one. We are crushing it. 3 years ago, 2013, this happened. Look at my retirement portfolio, folks. You see up here in the upper left where it says AR 2017 year to date. Let me put a little spotlight on this thing. Follow the red bouncing ball. I got to get my... All right, well, my ugly mug is... Let me close my mug. Spotlight. There. So right here, guys, accelerated retirement 2017 year to date. If you'll allow me to round up, guess what? Nearly $50,000, guys. And again, this is based on a $100,000 model portfolio. Let me get a hell. Look at our Facebook positions. We had 3 positions in Facebook: Jan 19, 2 Jan 18s, and a Jan 19 trade. Let me get a hell yeah if you wouldn't mind being up 50 grand on 100. So that was that's accelerated retirement. That's AR. And then the last one, here it is, and I'll put my little spotlight on. This is called the Urgent Alert and Weekly Options, 2017 year to date. Look at this portfolio, folks. 64 grand. God, nobody brought that up to me. Maybe I wowed you guys so much that there's the year to date. This is as of June 30th, guys. June 30th, there's the performance in this portfolio. Gil, I use the, well, it used to be Trade Monster, it used to be Options House, and now it's E-Trade. It's like an airline merger, folks. I don't even know what airline I'm flying on, but I when I was up at Peak 6, Gil, I helped build Options House, so I have an affinity for it. So that's who I trade with. You can trade with whoever you want to. Okay. Hans, can you make me be able to attend the event in Miami next year? You're in Europe. Hans, we will have an event in Miami. You're welcome to come down here. Okay. So yeah, guys, there you go. There is our year to date for my 4 portfolios right there. And again, men lie, numbers don't. So I wanted to show you those before we leave. Okay. So of course, after doing that, I finished 4 minutes late. So here's what we're going to do, folks. I'm going to cut you loose. My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Whiz. You learned about TGO. A lot of you put, hey, I'm new. Hopefully you feel a little bit better about Top Gun. I gave you my biography, where I've been, both in the military and in the financial world. One of the only professionals to nail the Trump victory and the market rally. And I told you about SOT, strategic, operational, tactical, and then I gave you my 7-step trade plan. You'll probably hear 5% of what you heard tonight tomorrow morning for people who are just joining us for the first time. But since you all showed up, I respect your time. I'm going to point people, hey, go watch the freaking replay. You could make it Monday night. Not my fault. Go watch it. You guys showed up. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I'm going to see you in the primary live trade brief, and we're going to get airborne and start killing some MIGs, okay? I'm going to look at some bull put spreads on Apple and the S&P 500 because I need to leg into some iron condors for my weekly options members. David, thank you. Great session. Looking forward to much more. You're welcome, guys. Mike, thanks, Wiz. Love your rants. Guys, you haven't seen anything yet, man. Tomorrow morning when I give you the real strategic and operational brief about what's going on, you're gonna love it, okay? Awesome. You're welcome, guys. Thank you for all the kind words. I appreciate it. Sorry I went over by a couple minutes. I start on time. I like to end on time. So welcome aboard Options Weapons School full week of live training. This will be up on the replay page in about 20 minutes after I go get a glass of wine to relax. And then tomorrow morning, I'll see you at 10 a.m. Okay? So have a great rest of your night, guys. Do me a favor, before you come into the primary live trade brief tomorrow, review your trade plan, just that trade plan. But more importantly, go through your current positions and see if you can come up with commit criteria for each one of those positions. And if you can't, or you stumble through it, or you're scratching to find reasons why you're in that trade, why are you in it? Okay? Thanks, Nicholas. I appreciate the nice words. Joe, can I ask you your thoughts on Goldman Sachs? Joe, I'll see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, man. Love Goldman Sachs. Love Goldman Sachs. There's my answer. All right, guys. Welcome aboard Options Weapons School. Hopefully by Wednesday, Thursday, and no later than Friday, you guys become a member and join one of the best training and trading squadrons around. All right, guys, have a great night. God bless, and I'll see many of you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Eastern.